Hey, what's up, my friends? On this morning activation, I want to talk about the single thing that can keep you going no matter what, and the thing that can stop you in your tracks and make you want to give up on everything. Hey, what's up, my friends? Welcome to another morning activation. Listen, I started watching Lost again for the how many times I've watched that, I don't know. Listen, if you're one of those people who doesn't like it or don't like the way it ends and you want to argue about that, you can come, we can do that. We can argue about that if you want to. But I'll just go ahead and tell you, you're wrong. That show is great. It's fantastic writing. It's fantastic storytelling from beginning to end. It's perfect. I love it. So having said that, I haven't seen the show in a long time. And it just came up on Netflix here in the States again, so we started watching it again last night just for fun. And it got me thinking about the themes in the show and like how it progresses. And I was looking up this video, and there's this part that happens towards the end. This is a spoiler alert if you haven't seen Lost and you plan on watching it and you're stoked about that. Maybe skip this part. This part that comes into the story later where you find out there's this person on the island who's like holding in the evil that's also on the island and keeping the evil from going to the whole world, right? And these two entities are personified. One of them is named the Man in Black, the other one is named Jacob, and there's a scene where they're talking to each other that happens like towards the end of the show. And you know, the guy who plays Jacob is always bringing these people to the island to prove that somebody has it in them to be him, to be the person who is holding back the evil and representing good. Okay. So he's always doing this, and over and over again, things become hectic and crazy, and the people fight and they kill each other, and it's all bad. And the guy points that out. The dark side guy points that out, and he says, you know, it always ends the same way. It always ends the same way. And Jacob says, no, it only ends once. And everything before that is just progress. The reason I'm telling you this story here today and bringing up Lost, which I know triggered some of you when I brought it up. The reason I'm bringing that up today and bringing up that specific scene is because I think the most powerful tool we have at our disposal when it comes to our ability to continue showing up and going is hope. This overwhelming sense that everything's going to work out. And it can be difficult sometimes to feel that because we as humans like to present evidence against things. We hold on so tightly to evidence and facts and like all these things. And we build up this case. And my friend, all of that stuff is just data. It's data that is trying to keep you safe from going forward, right? The problem is that our brains want to survive. And without hope, that starts to decline. I don't know if you guys have read any Viktor Frankl stuff. He talks about that a lot. That sense of hope. When that sense of hope would die, then people that he would see around him in the concentration camps would slowly decline. But the people who held on to hope and had a reason to live, those people are the ones who were able to push forward in the most terrible circumstances, right? So my morning activation to you today in this video is to find hope and meditate on hope. I don't want you to find evidence for it. I want you to find the feeling of it. I want you to find the feeling of it, because the cool thing about our brains as humans is that we're able to imagine things. Right? We're able to create things in our minds that aren't actually there. But the cool thing is our brain doesn't actually know the difference between those two things. The experience of me imagining holding an orange in my mind right now, I'm visualizing that, is the same visual as if I was actually holding an orange. I can't tell the difference between those two things except for the sense is not there. But in my brain, I can actually like see it, right? So find hope even if you feel like there is none. Find that and cling on to it. And I'm actually going to take it a step further and say that you should be an optimist. You should be, as a creative, as an owner, as someone who is projecting a vision and trying to get people on board with that thing, you should be an optimist. And that means that we can't dive down into hopeless things, into things that feel hopeless. That doesn't mean we ignore problems. It doesn't mean we ignore the world's problems. Not at all. It just means that through all of it, we can find hope and we can stay in this level of optimism, knowing that no matter what, it's all going to work out. And this goes into like the big macro life that we're all living and your micro life and your day-to-day and your creation and your work and your interactions with other people. If you show up in hope and optimism, things feel different. They feel different. When we start to go down the road of, man, everything's like, you can get really spun up in that. And that starts to feel really scary. But again, like I was saying before, the feeling is just a signal. It's just a signal from the data that's inside of you that's trying to keep you stuck. Because remember, we're taking in all this data at all times, and we take it in our unconscious mind is storing a lot of that and helps us build cases for why we can't do things, right? And so that feeling of pessimism and hopelessness is just a signal from the data, right? But we can flip that. And this may be, too big of a thing to get into on a Friday morning. But I just want to encourage you to find some hope. Find some hope in your work. Find some hope in your day-to-day and in the bigger scheme of things as well. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. This has been fun. This is number 12 in a row. Let's go. And if you're a creative or an owner, I would love for you to be in my free group that's all about keeping you in flow and focus so that you can feel this creative pull all the time, so you are creating your best work and that you're focusing on exactly where you want to go. That's what this whole thing is about. In that group, I do weekly clearing sessions. Those are live, they're fun, they're awesome. They help you get that data out of the way so that you can feel that divine inspiration, that main line of inspiration into creativity. That's what we want. That's what we're looking for. And that's a very big piece of your work as a creative or as an owner. So I'd love to have you in there. Just go to chriscreed.com/flow and you can sign up and join that for free. All right. I love you guys. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
Slow down. There's nothing to get you